Hey everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. Today's guest is someone I really should have known about because he's in Boston, he's a pro, he's a good pro. He just beat out Abner. How many guys were in your class? Like 30, 40?
I think it was 30, 31, I think.
30 professional classic physique men, and this guy in his first pro show beats them all. You know, my prediction for the show was that Logan would win. I just had the wrong Logan.
That's probably, an easy mistake,
I thought it was going to be Logan Franklin. It was Abner Logan. So
Right,
Abner, welcome to the show, first of all.
Thank you, appreciate you.
So yeah, I don't know why I haven't heard about you. I guess it's because you've only been competing a very brief time.
I have.
You
I have.
turned pro at the Nationals last November,
Yes, in Miami.
and as a tall class, obviously, because what do you go by, 6'1" or 6'2"?
6'1" and some change.
Okay.
6'1".
If you're in the NFL or pro wrestler, that would be like 6'5".
If it was NFL, I'm taking 6'2" all day.
They automatically bump up a couple inches. So
Absolutely.
let's find out all about you, Abner. What was I imagine you were a very athletic kid, or were you?
Yeah, I've been involved in athletics all my life. Basketball was the main sport until I realized I wasn't going to be 6'6". And then I kind of picked up football. I played football a little bit when I was younger for about 3 years, like Pop Warner. But that was never really the main sport. Also played track, did lacrosse. So I was really active. It wasn't until I started taking football seriously, probably about my junior year of high school, where like sophomore year, I was doing really well at it, but that was not my main. Basketball was everything.
Yeah, that's weird. You got away from football for years and years, and you came back, and that turned out to be what you excelled at.
Yeah, it just was what I guess was better for my body maybe because I was I guess for basketball you got to be like 6'3" or 6'4" to be a point guard, or that's kind of the expectation, but that wasn't really where my game was. So I realized that I would be better again in terms of looking for athletic scholarships and stuff like that, play football. So I was training at a place in Massachusetts, actually pretty close to here. It's in Woburn, called Athletic Evolution.
Okay. I know where that is. Yep.
Trained there for a while. I even did some cardio sessions over there before prep, to really get the conditioning down. Different type of conditioning when you just walking on a treadmill. But went there my junior year, and that really kind of propelled my athleticism. So I was playing like a tight end. Then I went to go and play running back at a Dexter school for my final 2 years of football, and then that's when I got a scholarship, and that's kind of when football was the move. Football was everything.
So were you weight training from a young age? Because that's pretty standard for a lot of, even in the middle schools now. Middle schools and high schools, they all have weight rooms and strength coaches. So were you doing all that?
I was working out when I was like 12 and 13, but it really wasn't. It was just because I know girls like dudes with like abs. So I was like, I was just trying to work out to look good, but it was like maybe when I was like 15, I kind of got really serious into working out, and that's really what I would do even when I was in high school. After school, do work, and me and my buddy Marlon just go to the gym. So I've been training for a while. I just didn't have any vision as to what I was training, which is why it's like kind of different from bodybuilding as it is from football.
So all those years when you were real young, were you aware of bodybuilding, and did you follow it in any way, shape, or form? Like some guys, they have kind of an idea. I like Sean Ray, or I like Ronnie Coleman. I knew
who Ronnie Coleman was, because I used to watch some videos, get me pumped up. I saw it, and I never really thought at that age that was what I wanted to do. I just always thought it was cool because the muscles and stuff like that. I've always been fascinated with muscles. But even when I was playing football, I wanted real big arms.
Right. Yeah.
I wanted the arms look good out the jersey and stuff. The whole look.
I don't. Have you ever seen those pictures of Ronnie when he was at Grambling State in his football jersey with the 22-inch arms?
See something like that. Yeah. That's cool. That was what was cool to me. So yeah, I was aware, but that was never really. At the time, that was not the focus. That was not even a thought.
But looking at you now, you're a specimen. You're not a regular human being. Pretty much anybody with an IFBB pro card now, unless they turn pro as a masters or something, you're something special beyond what the regular person with the structure and the muscle bellies. Did you ever? When was the first time that you noticed that your physique, your development was different from the other kids around you?
I always been kind of like a little bit more like developed because like I said, I was always into the fitness and just like I was like I wanted big arms, I wanted abs and stuff like that. So I was always into working out. So I was always one of the more developed people. Maybe even in college, I was always one of the strongest people in the weight room or something like that. But that's something that was something I loved. That was always one of the best parts of just athletics. I love to train.
Yeah. So.
But really, in terms of development, when I'm talking about in a bodybuilding sense,
yeah,
really wasn't until like I did maybe like my first show.
Oh, okay.
My first show where I had some people who were like yeah you my buddy Frank, who I actually just seen, told me, and we were trainers at Equinox or whatever. So he was telling me that dude, you could be pretty good if you just had a little bit of vision, which is the case, it's the truth.
So, but your first goal, your first dream was NFL, and man, you actually made it. You came that close to getting into the season. So you were signed by the Buffalo Bills, correct?
Yes.
And then, most people, they just assume being signed means, okay, you're all set, $1 million contract, and you're guaranteed a spot on the team. But I guess that's not accurate in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely. That's exactly what everyone thinks. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I wish. Wrong sport. They're not getting guaranteed money and stuff like that right now, But like I said, it was like I was up there and it was it was a grind. Everyone just assumes that you get this big lump sum of money. That's not how it works. And it's a business at the end of the day. It's not like any hard feelings, but business is business. I got cut.
So give everyone an idea, because I told you before we started, I'm a moron. I don't know much about football, which a lot of guys say you're not an American.
Same. No, I'm joking.
But, like, how many guys start off training camp, and how many of them end up actually on the roster?
So they have right now about probably 90 plus guys or something like that. And by the end of the season, they have to make a 56-man roster.
Okay, so almost half the guys don't make it.
So it's a significant cut that you have. There's a lot of that's why there's a lot of players always out in free agency. They have to cut a lot. And the hopes, even if you get cut, is that another team picks you up, and it's a big pot because you got people from the years before and prior and stuff like that. So it's likely that people don't get picked up for time on for X amount of time.
And are they watching you to see if your knees certain areas are already banged up?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like that that stuff plays a huge role into if they even sign you.
Yeah.
If you have any type of medical histories, you have to go and do some type of clearance with the NFL, and if you know anything, if you've seen the combine, they make sure you are in tip-top shape.
Right. Now but did you already have a bad knee injury before that?
I tore my ACL.
Ouch.
Yeah, I tore my ACL, lateral meniscus, and MCL.
Oh boy.
Yeah, my junior year of junior year of college.
Wow.
Yeah, junior year is actually the second day of camp. My junior year, second day, non-contact.
Wow. So do you get those replaced, or what happened?
So I actually had to go and get it surgically repaired. So I have a double bundle, which is I have 2 ACLs in my right knee.
Nice.
Right now, so it's super strong right now. But now that rehab, I wish it on nobody.
Wow.
And it's a painful process, but it's a possible thing, with a little determination and things like that, with the technology they have,
I mean, your leg, I saw what your legs look like. Clearly you're fine now. So
Yeah. It wasn't. I lost a lot of muscle, but it was a lot of work to get that muscle back.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of interesting. No one ever really said I had small. Well, this is gonna sound weird. No one ever said I had really small leg until my first show where I first dieted down. And a lot of that leg mass went. I was like, whoa, he's springing.
So take me through the process of, here you are on the Buffalo Bills camp. You get cut at the end of camp. And I'm sure you're like, well, now what do I do? So what did you do?
After I got cut?
Yeah.
After I got cut, you get your stuff. And probably won't even believe how swift you're gone. But I mean, like, it's almost like you just get wiped off the face of the earth. I mean, I've seen people get cut, and I mean, like, I was just in meeting with them 5 minutes ago. I walk over here, their whole locker is gone from existence. Their name was just stitched on the jersey. It's not no more. I mean, it is real business, real business. So I mean, that, like, it was like the last day they called me in. So we're gonna go ahead and release you. Just, and then he gave me a couple words and talked to some of the coaches. Their kind words. It was a pleasure having you. It was cool. But I was working hard every day with these, the coaches and stuff like that. It's a different environment. It's real high anxiety because, I mean, you have a bad practice, and especially being someone who's a free agent. I mean, if I do anything wrong, I just thought, man, you can get cut, and you can get like fired. You right over there? Yeah. No, I'm sorry.
So you had, you had your degree and everything. So did you think, well, that's it? I'm not going to be a professional athlete. I'm just going to have to get a real job and be a regular person now.
Well, it's like after I got cut, I was like, hopefully I get picked up, So I was like, all right, let me wait a bit. And I was like, I waited maybe like a week, 2 weeks. But then on the contrast, I was like, I don't want to just be waiting around. And I was like, because you never know when someone's going to call. And that's kind of like the anxiety with, just being in that situation where it's like at any moment, anybody can go. Yeah. There's no type of security where, and I was like, on top of that, there's more anxiety because it's like, look, I ain't got no money.
Yeah.
I didn't make it to the regular season. So I was like, and if I'm done, it's like, so I was like, I was home, I was waiting, but I was like, I got to go and get a job. Yeah. So, I went, got a job as a trainer. And then, another trainer, came, my buddy Frank, was like, I always said I would give, maybe it a try, maybe like when I was in college, because people always said like I was always lifting, Yeah. But I was, I would even do like extra lifts with some of the other guys, and those dudes actually ended up, being like some other pretty strong dudes too, those dudes in the NFL right now. And I'd do extra lifts, and they would be like, you look like a bodybuilder, I look like a wrestler or something like that. And but I was like, I'd say, I was like, I mean, I would give it a shot, but I was like, that was never, like I said, really the focus. I never really said anything like really like a solid statement that I can remember about it until it was like it was 2015. I remember vividly where I picked up a magazine or whatever, and people were talking about like your plan Bs and stuff like that, their life plans and stuff. And it was a picture of Jeremy Buendia, and I was like, and it was when he was, I think it was like maybe like, I don't know, he's wearing like blue board shorts, but he was obviously in competition ready, and I was like to my girlfriend, I was like, see, I could do something like this,
right?
And I was like, look at, I was like, I'm developing. I was like, I eat whatever I want. And this is obviously before like I was a trainer. This is when I was in college, like 2015 or so. But I was like, I think I could do this, And then it just my buddy Frank or whatever was like, let's go and get it a try. So he introduced me to my coach. Now he was a friend of him, who was Justin Randall.
Is Frank? I hate to make this all, because people are going to know. Well, stop going off on tangents.
Frank Perrella, my fault.
No. Is Frank the one that trains on a Bayshore with Justin sometimes?
He does, yeah.
Okay, mustache, big kid.
Yeah, you know Frank.
Okay, that's the same Frank. Okay,
Frank Perrella, yeah.
I didn't know his last name, but okay, so we know that's the same Frank. Okay.
Frank, yeah. So Frank, and he introduced me to Justin, so when that happened, I was like, I'm gonna do this bodybuilding show, and I guess, and I told my girlfriend, I was
when
like,
was this? Because you didn't compete. You didn't start competing until 2018. So when did you decide that it was time to shift over to this?
Hold on, let me go ahead and look at this year right now. Hold on. It was 2000. It was 2018.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was 2018, the Powerhouse Classic.
Yeah. So okay. So you decided not long before that show that you were going to try it, right?
That I would try that if that like offered opportunity. Like I said, I could do it.
Yeah.
I was like, I think I could do this. But I was like, I had no vision, I had no knowledge of it.
Good.
But it was just like I liked the look, I liked working out, and I was like, look, these dudes model and they do all these things in magazines and stuff like that. I was like, I think I could do that.
Did Justin prep you, or did you prep yourself for that show?
No, Justin's done all my preps.
Okay.
Justin's done all my preps. I remember it was like, kind of like a natural thing. When I first seen him, he had me go through the pose and they started like laughing. And I was like, was so damn funny. You know, they were like,
I'm sure you had no idea. You had no idea what you were doing. So
I didn't, but they were like, you're just kind of like ahead of in terms of like when people like you see it in person and then the pictures and stuff like that. It's just obviously go a lot different.
So what made you choose classic? Because you said you had seen a picture of Jeremy Buendia, who was men's physique Olympia champ 4 times with the board shorts. When
Right.
classic came along the next year. Hey, you could have gone. You could have done men's physique. You could have done classic. You could have done bodybuilding. What made you? How did you know, or did someone help you decide classic physique was where you would do the best?
Well, I actually did I think I did open
Oh, you did open bodybuilding.
I did open bodybuilding and I did classic
Oh, okay.
for sure. So I did a balance of both, and then
Did you win both?
the first show, yeah, I won. Yeah, I won I won it. Yeah, I won open. I won and everything for classic.
Okay.
So, but I was like, I didn't when I seen like what I would have to do for open in terms of the size and stuff like that. I was like, I'm not competing with any of those dudes in the top level. I just don't have that much muscle.
Right.
And but I was like, classic. I was like, well, it's like, oh, it still looks athletic, it still looks real pretty. It's not like anything too obsessive, I think, and I think it's an attainable look, which is, I think kind of like the premises of the division. But I really just decided I was like, all right, I'll just do classic.
I mean, the weight limit for NPC? I don't
was 230.
At 230 at your height, and as
Yeah.
a pro, what is it?
240.
Okay, so 10 pounds. And what did you come into Tampa at?
239 too.
Okay, so right there.
Yeah, right there. Yeah. But it makes a big difference because it's like the height is like 6'1".
Yeah.
About 6'1", it's still 230.
Right.
6'1" and some change. That change makes a difference.
Yeah, a lot of guys are always trying to like step up make themselves a little bit taller. But, yeah, it's tough. I've tried. I can't get any taller.
Hey.
I'm stuck. Yeah, me and Justin, we know the strive. The struggle is real. But
It is.
so what made you decide on Tampa for your debut? Because you turned pro way back in November. You could have done New York Pro. You could have done Toronto. There was all kinds of shows. So
Right.
why Tampa?
Because I thought it gave me enough time to bring something new. So I mean, I turned pro in November, and I remember my coach Justin and Steve. I think they had mentioned there's so New York, and I was like, and New York is like kind of like right around the corner, And it just I feel like it wouldn't be anything like I'm really new with the sport. So when people talk like really like in depth about bodybuilding and like I'll say politics and stuff, I really don't know anything about that, So I'm just like whatever. But I was like, to be a pro, I was like, I got to bring something new. So if I'm just gonna go ahead and diet again, I really haven't taken any time to really grow. And still, like that whole past year, I still haven't had any off season. I just did a show.
Yeah.
And dieted for the second show, which was the Cutler Classic in Boston.
Oh, you were there. Okay, so I saw you last year.
Yep.
Okay.
And then there was like a little time off where I was like, hey, Justin, how do you think I would do at Nationals? Send us some pictures. He was like, well, let's do it. And then he was like, we'll do it. Let's go ahead and do it the right way. Let's go ahead and see how you do at Easterns, which is the week before.
Yep.
And he's like, that's the biggest show on the East Coast. It'd be good, see, have Steve look at you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I did that, and still the time off was maybe like a month and a half, 2 months. It wasn't much time.
Right. Yeah.
So I was like, all right, let's go ahead and give me some time. Where I was like, all right, how about Tampa? Tampa give me a good couple months where I can go ahead and eat in a surplus, lift, put some size on, bring something new.
So were you trying to just put general mass on, or were there certain areas like Justin would have pointed out to you? You need a little bit more of this or that.
Well, I mean, from like Justin obviously, like told me what I needed, especially Frank, because I usually trained with Frank and one of those two, and they're close with another coach, Andrew Barry, who I know. But they said that back density, thickness, the back width as well. Then there was like shoulders. There was like your arms obviously are really really developed. Right. I used to do arms all the time. It was always chest and arms day. Always chest and arms day.
That's most guys.
Most guys. It was always chest and arms day. But it was like for the look that they're looking for, and I go off with what are the top Olympians look like? Big cap shoulders. They have a big solid back. And back is a body part that was lacking because it never really was. Just no one, it's behind you. No one's thinking of that.
Yeah, I mean,
So
even in football, they would have just had you maybe doing some power cleans, but nothing. You weren't
oh yeah,
deadlifts, barbell rows, all that stuff. Yep,
exactly. Yeah, yeah, that's me, my fault. But yeah, I mean, it was like I was just a lacking body part. But yeah, so I took this time to go ahead and work on some back, work on some shoulders, and everything else. I mean, that I thought personally that they said my legs were good, but I was I want like them to be a little bit more thicker, a little bit more wider.
Yeah.
So took some time and I just did legs more, but just did it like kind of like a smart way, just where I do it twice a week, some weeks, and sometimes my knees ache, do it once a week.
Do you need to worry? I mean, did you do anything special to keep? You have a really small waist. I don't think you're in any danger of having a big gut or anything like that. But did you practice vacuums? Did you do anything specific to try to keep your waist as small as possible while you put on a little bit more mass?
No. No, not really. I mean, I don't do a lot of, I guess, things that people say like deadlifts make your waist big.
Yeah.
I do a lot of rack pulls.
Okay.
And I do them heavy. I mean, what do people say? Squatting make you?
Yeah, everyone's got their own theory, but squats and deadlifts are the two things people talk about the most.
I mean, being from football, I mean, we squatted all the time, and it was heavy, and it was a lot, So I was like, I mean, I kept the same type of training, and if I did abs, I just keep everything very like linear. I didn't do a lot of twisting with weights or anything like that. I just kept it real, just kept it to the basics. I just don't think I have to do anything fancy, to try and keep my waist small. Just I feel like you have what you have, and I was like, if you make your shoulders and back bigger, make your waist look small.
Right.
So
you pulled a sneak attack. Nobody knew you were coming to Tampa. Well, I mean, Justin knew, but I mean, you weren't being talked about. There weren't a lot of big names in the show, period. But like this Logan Franklin, he had a lot of pressure on him because he was on the cover of MD. He's got a huge social media following. A lot of people were expecting him to come over from Men's Physique, where he had been for the past few years, to jump right into Classic and just knock it out of the park first time. Whereas I don't think you had any pressure on you in that sense, because nobody was saying, Logan, you better win this or else you suck. Your first show as an unknown, any top 10 would have been good. Top 5 would have been great. Winning, wow, that's just a phenomenal success. So what was it like for you going into the show? Were you more relaxed because you knew nobody was expecting anything from you?
Well, I don't know when no one was I mean, I told everyone I was doing the Tampa.
I told you don't have 1 million followers yet. That's why.
I don't have I guess my following isn't many people in the bodybuilding community. I guess but I still I follow the main accounts for them. I mean, on my story, I'm always on the treadmill. I mean, I don't know how. What do you guys?
I gotta see how many followers you got. Your Instagram is big_AB.
Big __ 2 underscores.
Oh, there's 2 underscores. Oh, did I have the wrong guy? Because Boston Lloyd just commented on one of your pictures.
Yeah, I follow a couple, bodybuilding,
bodybuilding. Oh, that was 2 underscores together. No wonder. Okay, 25.3K. That's not bad, but we got to get you like 250K.
Hey, I appreciate that. That'd be cool.
So it's big 2 underscores AB, everybody. I almost messed them up with the 1 underscore.
It's all good. It's all good. It happens. The person with 1 underscore is killing it right now.
So what was it like, because you just turned pro not that long ago. It hasn't been a year yet. And this was your first experience on a pro stage. It's very rare, especially in physique, where like Ricky Moten, I thought he was going to win, or I thought Logan was going to win. There's certain names you expect just because they've done a bunch of shows and they've either won or been top 5. But like I said, you were not somebody that was on my radar until that day, and like, oh, geez, this guy's really good. I don't know why I don't know who he is. But what was it like coming out of nowhere and just blowing it away like that?
I feel like it's really no pressure. I mean, I'm not really like big into like the physique updates. I mean, it was like, I'm not sure. I mean, I really, it's just like any other prep that I've done. I mean, I was a little bit more hungry for this one, just because like when I'm in the off season, like I'm off, but I still I eat my food, I train, but I enjoy myself.
Yeah.
So when I go back into like bodybuilding prep, this whole like diet, like it's like I get into this like zone where it's like I miss it because I've allowed myself to go ahead and like not be so absorbed with it, you know. So it's like I'm just very like to myself, and then obviously as the weeks go down to it, you know, I'm just more and more just like to myself. But it's, you know, it was, I mean, obviously it was tough, you know, and it wasn't until really, I guess maybe like the last week where my body started to change, where I was like, wait, I may, you know, I may be able to go ahead and bring something really, really special. Because I mean, for like my nationals prep, I looked a lot different. I was a lot smaller,
Right.
and I put on some good size. And you know, it's still a small time that I had the off season, but I mean, I was kind of freaking out. I won't lie. I was kind of freaking out. I was like, yeah, like I'm bigger, but I'm not as crisp. And you know, the days leading up to it, I was like, you know, like yeah, like it's good, but it's not good enough to win. And that was just being honest with myself, or so I thought at the time. And then, you know, just like probably like the day leading up to the weigh-in,
Yeah.
that night or whatever, I was like, oh,
Things changed.
things tightened up real nice, you know. So I was like, you know, hey, peak, you know, I was like, wow, that was God. I was like, wow, that was God, because I mean, it was like, it was different, because I was like, you know, there's some that I was like, you know, this is it's a new package, but it wasn't good enough to win. Until then I woke up like the last 24 hours, and I was like, no, this may do it.
At what point in the judging did you realize, wow, I think I actually have this?
I mean, I don't like to go ahead and like speak before like anything's finished, because I know like I've seen plenty of times where, you know, like someone was in the middle and they chose a person that was maybe to the left or to the right.
Right.
You know? So I was like, when I was, you know, we was going and we was battling at it, they was making us work. So I mean, they moved me out, moved Logan, switched us around a couple more times. But yeah, I think that one of my best features is when we turn around and you can see my glute and hams. And you can see that conditioning, and I think it's something where, when, I mean, if you look at a complete package, I think my best feature is that's what I bring. It's everything. You know, some people may have like, oh, better shoulders or better, you know, this, that, and the third, but it's like, all right, who has the overall better completeness and whatever?
Yeah, complete package, total package. Who's got the better total package?
That's what I think, and I take big calf on my calves too. Big pride on my calves. I'd say the details. I work on the details a lot, you know. So I was like, you know, but like I said, you know, once I woke up or whatever, I was well, I don't want to say a different mindset, but I knew that this was going to be something different. It definitely was not. I was going to exceed my expectations at first.
Right. Now, before I talk about the Olympia, I'm going to back up. I told you I would ask about this because I Googled you.
Yeah.
Because I used to drive around with. I have a Shih Tzu. I have two dogs, but I have an old Shih Tzu, and I used to have that stupid dog on my lap every day in my car, every day.
Yeah.
And so I Googled you, and you actually they did pull you over in Somerville back in June of this year, right?
Yeah, it was July 4th.
Oh, it was July 4th. Is it illegal to have a dog on your lap when you drive?
Apparently it is.
Oh, gee, shit, I broke the law many times.
Apparently it is. I mean.
Oh, geez, I did that for years.
It was like a stop. It was like at a stoplight, and I mean, I had my window open. It was hot, you know. I just let her head out, and then, you know, he pulled me over or whatever. But it was, you know, it was using all types of like excessive force and stuff. I mean, it was like, all right, you know, you can't have a dog, and I'm like, all right, cool, you know, here's my license, write me a ticket, so no issues.
Well, luckily you had this thing going, the phone.
Absolutely, man. I tell you, it's social media. It's unbelievable what you have to do. I was. You know, and you know, they kind of tried to like break the window and stuff. I'm like, you know, when try to like search the car and do all this crazy stuff. I mean, I was like, you know, you guys really must think you guys have like a real criminal here, because like,
yeah, I mean, that dog's vicious. It's a poodle Shih Tzu.
Mocha, right there you go.
I want to see this dog. Mine's a Shih Tzu. Shih Tzus are adorable. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that looks like a terrifying dog. Oh, look at that. So this dog looked like a threat to society, a menace to society.
That one was impeding my driving apparently, but hey, I was like, all right, just is what it is. But yeah, though.
I can say in my case, my dog did impede my driving because it would bark at me if I didn't sit there and pet it the whole time. So I only had one hand available to drive.
I know what you mean. I know, I know what you mean.
Okay. So back to the real world of bodybuilding and classic physique and all that. You qualified for the Olympia at your first pro show. So first question, are you going to the Olympia?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay. Second question, what are you going to do between now and then? Is there anything you're going to try to improve on? What do you want to be different about your physique when they see you at the Olympia versus Tampa?
My conditioning can be better. I thought, I told my coach, and we had a serious talk because he wasn't able to actually be there this time, so because he had he was guest posing.
Okay.
No, I told him that I think we could push the conditioning, and he completely agrees. And I just think they said, my coach said, with the density and the size and the conditioning, and especially with me being a taller guy, like if you push the conditioning, you could even see more lines with me. So I think that's really what would be my big focus. And of course, posing. I do think my posing is pretty good, but the thing is, I want, for the Olympia, for an opportunity like this. It's pretty much like the Super Bowl. I want it to be epic. And I want it to be special.
You gotta go see Kenny.
Kenny, Kenny, yeah.
Yeah, he's a man.
I talked to Kenny, and I also talked to Terrence Ruffins.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's good too. I didn't. That's going to be he lives. Where does Ruffin live?
I think he may live in Maryland, but I also think maybe Tampa.
Okay.
Strange.
There he is right now. So you probably have to Skype with him to do the posing.
Probably.
Okay.
But
so,
that's something that I definitely want to go ahead and bring up for the O. And I think with a routine or something like that, I think it's necessary.
Yeah. Who are the guys in classic physique right now that you look up to that you think really represent the division the best?
Brion, I think, looks unbelievable. I think that for the past 2 years, just the combination of flow, muscle bellies, and the conditioning, I just don't think it's been able to really be beat. And he's an older guy too, so he has that muscle maturity that you just got to give it time.
Yeah.
Actually, one of my favorites is Henry Pierre-Arnaud.
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of times when I talk to a taller guy like yourself, they tend to gravitate toward the guys who are 6 foot or over.
Absolutely. I was like, I just like how Brion's like shape, and then it's just like it just looks so complete.
Yeah.
Then secondly, Henry Pierre-Arnaud, I think his physique is just unbelievable. I think his back is just like I tell you, it's personally I thought he should have got higher.
Fourth was really good, but yeah, he could have.
I'm a fan of his, so I was like I think he should have got higher. But those are two people that I in the past, I guess, Olympians who I really emulate their physiques, or I want specific things like how theirs are. Obviously there's Sebum, whose shape is phenomenal. George Peterson, really hard. Comes really hard. Obviously really amazing back. Things like that. So it's like there are people. Those people up there, obviously, they're very deserving, and they all bring something special to the table. And it's just, when I step up there, I have to go ahead and bring something special too.
Right on. All right. Well, I want to give you a chance to thank anybody that's been part of your team, that's been part of your success so far.
Oh, absolutely. Big shout out to Hard Body Meals, who I got all my food from this prep, which has been different. It's been able to help me out tremendously. Shout out Hard Body Meals. My coach, Justin Randall, my buddy Frank, Lady Bianca. It's, I don't know if maybe if you have a wife, but the significant other plays a huge role in your success.
We call her Lady Bianca.
I said my lady.
Oh, my lady. I thought maybe that was like her title.
Yeah. Oh no,
Lady Bianca.
Oh no.
Yeah. Okay, Bianca.
That's funny. But she did all my tanning and stuff like that. So big shout out to her. That's pretty much all I can think of. I'm sure I'm forgetting. Oh, Mark at Flex Appeal.
Ah.
Buddy Market Flexible is just another source of information. You know, Andrew Barry, obviously he was there in replacement of Justin. You know, huge shout out to him. You know, and his lady Rachel. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And anyone who obviously obviously supporters and everyone who's always in my corner or whatever. You know, I really deeply appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? And we're just gonna go ahead and get better. So.
Last question: how'd you get that sword? Because all the overall champs got a sword. How'd you get it on the plane? Did they give you a lot of trouble over that?
Oh my goodness, man! Yeah, it was a hassle to get that thing on. I mean, next time they gotta go ahead and just ship it. But I mean, I really stopped TSA. I was like, look, man, I'm not gonna go ahead and take off this plane. Y'all go ahead and take it, put it on the plane for me. I don't want no issues, man. But I can't leave this thing here. So. I guess the manager or the supervisor at TSA went and made like a makeshift, like broke a bunch of boxes up, and we tied it up, and then I had to go and take the transit thing all the way back to like the beginning, have them go ahead and put that on the carry on, no, the like the under luggage or whatever.
Right.
Found the one and stuff like that. And we just fingers crossed and hoped it wouldn't get broken, but it's over there. It's good. We made it happen.
Because I mean, it was a nice sword. It wasn't like a samurai sword or a Conan sword. And
exactly, I was like, look, it's dull. It's not even. I couldn't cut nothing. You know,
it looked like it was more decorative than anything else. But
absolutely, and I was told, look, this is not even for pretend. This is strictly a trophy. And I was like, man, I worked too hard for this. I can't leave this. You know, but they was able to work with me and get that through. So shout out to Tampa Bay TSA for allowing me to get that through.
And I got to take another opportunity to thank Tim Gardner. What an efficient show that guy runs. Because
that was great.
302 pros, and I believe he had like 300 amateurs in the NPC show.
Wow.
And that thing ran like clockwork. We were out of there Saturday at like 7. No, I'm sorry. Saturday went a little later, but we were.
And that's what I've heard, that he always runs really well run shows. So yeah, big shout out to Tim Garner, for throwing on a great production. Appreciate it. Obviously, very honored to go ahead and be the Classic Physique champ.
Well, Abner Logan, congratulations one more time.
I
want to encourage everyone, go to Instagram, big2_AB.
_AB.
This guy needs more followers. 25. This guy should have 250K. Come on, people.
Easily.
Really. Come on.
Appreciate you.
So best of luck over the next 5.5 weeks now. It's coming up. Gee, time is just flying by.
This year, I mean, once I got out of college, it just seems like they just press fast forward on life, didn't they?
Wait till you're my age, dude. It just.
Oh man.
You blink and like a month has gone by. It's crazy.
Unreal.
So everybody, look forward to seeing Abner Logan at the Olympia. 5.5 weeks, making his Olympia debut. He's already made his pro debut and won it, which is not an easy thing. Doesn't happen all the time. So we all wish you the best of luck, and look forward to see what you got next for us.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Better.
All right, for the Ronline Report, this has been Ron Harris with IFBB Pro Abner Logan. Thanks for watching.